I was fooling with my mic and I missed the cue, but that's okay,
all right,
because we've
That's
got
a
a lot
great
to do.
graphic.
Great graphic. Happy Thursday evening. There's football on right now. Anybody watching the Dolphins game?
I was watching it earlier. I was simulcasting it earlier.
It looked pretty good so far. It was 7-7 when I left to join you guys, but we've got a lot to talk about. You guys know the drill. What's up, K-Spray? What's up, Keith? We're going to get to you in just a minute. But before we do that, let's take care of some in-house business. As you guys know, we are currently fighting with YouTube because we were growing pretty quickly and YouTube felt like that was not okay. So they red flagged us for whatever. It's a fight. So in the meantime, we're depending on you heavily to grow. So please do the dang thing and share, like, comment, be active with us tonight, all of you. If you got a thought, share it, retweet if you're watching on other forms of social media. We want to hear from you. Like I said, send us to your mom, your grandparents, your granddaddy, your ex-wife, whomever. Let them know you're watching the best damn Bama show this side of the Mississippi.
Period.
Roll Tide Tim, Roll Tide Link, what's going on?
Roll
We got a
Tide,
lot to talk
everyone.
about. We got a full slate. I
do.
know why everybody's here, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But
For the
we're going to be
merch.
talking about the merch. Check out Bill's shirt. Bill actually ordered that himself from our store. I'll link that here in a minute to the chat. If you guys want to check out our merch, we do have seasonal merch. You can order something pretty cool for yourself or for somebody else, whatever you want to do. But we got a lot going on before we get there. How's everybody's weeks going, chat? How's your week? Good, bad, ugly, indifferent? What's going on? Jeff, Bill, how you doing?
Yeah, we're 2-0, baby.
Yeah.
It's better than that.
2-0 is a good place to be. I've been unusually busy this week. It feels like it should already be Friday. And I'm like, dadgum, it's a long week. But that's all right.
It feels short to me, honestly, this week.
Thanks, Keith. Love you too.
So Keith watched our show last night. Good job, Keith.
Who was on the show last night? Who was that?
Chris and I just popped in and did a quick Q&A thing just to let
Yeah, I
everybody
saw.
know we haven't forgot about him because we haven't done After Dark in like a month, and people were like, hey, where's After Dark? So we'll get that squared away, guys. So there's been some scheduling issues, but what's on everybody's mind right now, which is crazy because the season is underway, but everybody wants to talk about Cruton. Everybody wants to talk about Cruton. What's going on with Alabama Cruton? You guys, tell us in the chat what you've heard, rumors. If you got an insight, if your cousin's daddy's car shop repairman's sister-in-law / baby mama heard something about one of these guys, tell us. And we'll tell you if we think it's a bunch of bull crap or not. But some big news that you guys need to know about. We'll start with Michael Carroll. 5-star interior offensive lineman, number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country. He's been committed to Alabama since June. Well, Michael Carroll is taking a visit to the Hurricanes of Miami on Saturday to watch them railroad the Ball State. Are they the Cardinals? Something like that? Cardinals, Birds.
Ball State.
I think they're Cardinals.
Testicles.
Either way, in an interview with On3, Carroll said, "Hey, look, NIL is a big part of my recruitment, and obviously, Miami has the money to offer anybody they want to. That's why they're doing as well as they are in recruiting right now. I don't think their facilities and stadium and things are on par with other big name programs, but Carroll's going to take a visit." Now, a lot of Bama fans are like, this sucks, let them go, blah, 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 this and that. But I do think that with Carroll, he's one of those cornerstone guys that Alabama's going to have to match if Miami does offer him. Number 1 interior offensive lineman. Kalen DeBoer and staff have made it very clear that they're starting in the trenches in terms of recruiting. So he's one of the guys that they're probably going to do everything they can to keep. And so you guys agree, disagree? Jump in here any minute.
Well, no, that's a given. I mean, we saw what they did in the offseason, firming up the offensive line significantly, and then we saw how that paid off in the last 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And then the defensive line. I mean, I was listening to Tim Smith. He was on Hey Coach last night, and no, they're not. Tim Smith said we get our energy and feed off Tim Keenan. And so they're going to that's the nucleus in every level of football. You don't win without having the trenches secure.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think
you got to make it work.
Yeah. So I think even if Miami throws a bag out, keep in mind that Carroll is verbally committed to Alabama. He's been committed since June. I'm sure Miami's not going to be the first program to offer him money to skip out on that verbal. And it's hard to tell with Miami. We do this every year. Jeff and I did a video a week ago about these programs that, every offseason, everybody's talking about them. They're going to catch lightning in the bottle. They went and dominated a Florida team at Florida's field, and everybody started talking about them. How good is Florida, though?
That's SEC respect there.
Well, yes, but in the terms of Florida this year,
Florida sucks.
We knew Florida wasn't going to be good this year.
Not good.
So, Miami was favored to win that game, right?
Although I think Lagway is going to start going forward, so they may be a little more competitive.
A little more, but with that schedule, man, it's
a brutal schedule.
It is. You can't hear me well. I'm having mic issues, man.
Once his name from South Florida takes that Florida job next year.
Yeah, Alex Golish.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Keith, that freeze warning turned out to be a melting.
White dusting. What are you guys talking about? What freeze warning?
Keith's comment.
What are you talking about, Keith? He might be talking about recruiting. Apparently, Auburn was supposed to get him one tonight, and I don't know if that actually happened.
I mean,
it's hard to get
anything
anything
when you facts coming from. All these supposed tos and gonna be's and all this stuff, and then none of it ever happens.
Social media, man.
Yeah, when you lay down at home
going to Auburn. What? He hadn't said a word. He hadn't said anything about it, but he's going to Auburn. What? When did that happen?
Yeah, when you lay down,
didn't say a word. He's going. Huh?
Man, Auburn. Oof, that's a disaster in the pasture.
We'll get there too. But let's stick with the recruiting.
Too. Goes, don't worry, they're not off the target yet. They're gonna light their ass up soon enough. Trust me.
Let's keep on the recruiting. The big one that everybody wants to know about is Justus Terry, and I do have some information on Justus Terry that we haven't shared. And here it is. So for those of you who don't know, I am part of a chat, a recruiting chat, and in that chat, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay, I want to make sure everybody else can. Chat, can you hear me okay?
I think you sound fine.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
Although I do hear an echo
He
somewhere.
said it sounds a little bit better.
Sibilance.
So, anyway, what was I saying?
You have some
Justus
information because you're part of a group text that.
Okay, sorry. All right, thank you
makes up
guys.
stuff
Sorry,
about Terry, too.
I've been told that something's going on with my audio, so I've been trying to fix it. A little bit of an echo. I did just do the echo cancellation, so hopefully that'll fix it.
All
But
right.
anyway, I got thrown off. I got a phone call. So part of this recruiting chat, and with Justus Terry, it is definitely coming down to a recruiting fight between Alabama and Georgia. He did visit Georgia for the Clemson game. He was in Tuscaloosa for the USF game. He'll be back for the Georgia game. But those who are surrounding Terry, who are close with him, have very little problem posting on social media about how good of a time he's having in Tuscaloosa when he's there. And family members, friends that are going on these visits with him have said, like, this latest visit to USF, like the dude was having the time of his life. And that staffers at Alabama are very confident in their ability to land Justus Terry over Georgia. I think that game with Georgia, even if Alabama wins, or loses, that doesn't mean they're out of that recruiting fight. I think that they have to show something with that defensive line, but you're already seeing that this season. So I think Bama has a very good shot at Justus Terry for the simple fact that I think he would play very quickly as opposed to Georgia. I'm not saying that Georgia doesn't develop D linemen. I think they do a good job with their pass rush. I think Georgia is better in terms of maybe linebackers and safeties than they are at developing D linemen. But Terry would start very, very quickly at Alabama. And so it seems that there may be some momentum shifting in Bama's favor, but Terry's not going to sign till the early signing period. And, when you got guys like Marquise Mays recruiting him for you.
How do you not get on board with that?
And he told him, he said, hey, look, he was like, listen, young man. And I actually thought he gave him sound advice. He's like, take your time, enjoy your visit.
Yeah.
But know this.
Yes.
Know
These
this.
guys
about
What is saying?
He said, Alabama is a place that's going to take care of you while you play football, but they're going to take care of you after you play football. And that is a very solid selling point. So I would definitely grow on that in terms of other recruits. Dawson Merritt just visited Nebraska for the Colorado game, and everybody was talking about that. And then he comes back, and On3 is trying to make a story out of it, but he tells Brett Greenberg, hey, look, yes, it was fun. I had a good time, but I'm 100% committed to Alabama.
Hope they take all their visits. They deserve it.
I think they do. Yeah. Why would you not?
They deserve to take all these visits and let every school shower them with gifts and women and other stuff. What's up, Mr. Bama? And other stuff. And because this is the only time in their life until next year they got to do it again.
Yeah. And I think until next year. I think with, a guy like Michael Carroll, like, why would you not want to? I mean, everybody's talking about him. The media's talking about Miami. It's supposed to be popping down there. But again, the season's going to take care of recruiting because you're already starting to see it after week 2. You've got these programs that everybody's been on fire about. Dude, everybody started buying into Auburn after that freaking Alabama A&M beatdown and those receivers and Peyton Thorne. Even Nick Saban got on College Game Day and said, Auburn's going to be, a hard team to beat, blah, blah, blah. This and that. And then they go and freaking lose to Cal at home. The season's going to take care of these things. The real battles
for Bama a little early this year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Nothing fills seats and gets recruits more than winning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And money. Justus Terry wants to be on a high-speed, high-octane defense. Hey, Cat. And he's watched that swarm defense, so he knows that's a go-getter, makes the best out of a defensive player, highlights defensive players.
Yeah.
So, that it's to his advantage to show up and take a serious look at Alabama, and he does. Love you, Keith. And I'll say this about Miami: the University of Miami's down in Coral Gables. That is a wealthy zip code. It's pretty. And it's happening.
Ever watched Cocaine Cowboys on Max? That's why.
Yeah. So, but it is not close to South
You want to
Beach.
wonder where Miami gets the money? Watch that documentary. It's pretty clear.
Yeah. But everybody talks about, I'm going to South Beach. You're 40 minutes from the beach when you're at their campus.
Rhymes with Schmablo Fescobar.
Yeah.
The same man who introduced hippopotamus to Central America.
Sounds a little bit like Novocaine.
Yeah. So, with
I disagree, Man Cave.
I agree with you, Man Cave. I agree. We're a long way from that happening.
Nobody knows but him.
Yeah, I
Justus
think
is the only one that knows.
But I will say, in terms of Justus Terry, I appreciate the fact that he's taking his time, taking the visit. He's not keeping anybody. He's not. Oh, I'm going here and then going to visit all these other schools. He said, "Hey, I'm going to keep my recruitment open." That's why he decommitted from Georgia in the first place, because he wasn't sure. Right. Same thing with USC. Everybody wants to look at that as, oh, he's jumping back and forth, but it's really he just wasn't sure. And so, I mean, the guy is taking his visits. He's taking advantage of being, one of the top recruits in the country and enjoying his senior year of football. Why would he not? Take the visit.
And they've got to evaluate. In addition to what they want to be a part of, they've got to evaluate what's going to be the best place to develop.
100%. They have no idea.
That's right.
Most of them, their dad's trying to tell them where to go, or their uncle is working all these deals.
Case in point, Caleb Downs.
Bingo. Yeah. And then they go there for a year and transfer to where they really want to go within a year or two.
Look at all the offensive talent that has trickled through Auburn University in the past 20 years. And it has been a disaster because they think they're going to come there and play it, but they don't get developed. And so these players, they're studying that too. And their coaches and their dads and their uncles are helping them say, not only do you need to pick up a bag, but you got to grow.
Yeah. Naeem Alford, man. That's sorry, I was reading a comment. Naeem Alford's a great example. He wanted to get out of the state. And now, he's buying into that whole Auburn deal. We'll see what happens. I think Auburn might actually flip him. But we'll see. Again, you'll see if that lasts. As the heat was all around Deuce Knight flipping to Auburn, and then Auburn goes and loses to Cal, and it's kind of crickets now in terms of what Auburn's doing in recruiting. We all know that Auburn's paying guys for commitments, but what does that hold up? I'm assuming these aren't contractual obligations. So
snap! Hawks in the mix.
Hawks here. What's up?
Here.
Hit on that thing.
Hey, but guys.
I'm assuming that, and Bill's right. Like, the best thing you can do in terms of recruiting is win games because you stay relevant. So what's going to happen as the season progresses?
Now, I'm with you. But I have a small, not retort, but a small other end of the spectrum to what Man Cave said here. But we got to beat Georgia first to crack it open. That could be true. But if Georgia gashes us up the middle, that could also be a tool like, look, man, we need you. You're walking in the door right now on the 2 deep right now, and you're not even on the team yet.
Yeah. I'll say this.
Use that to our advantage. If we
Terry seems to be handling his recruitment with a lot of intelligence and a lot of maturity.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say I don't necessarily think if Alabama gets beat by Georgia, it's, they're dead in the water in his recruitment. It doesn't help. But I do think Hawk, I'm about to get to that too. Hold on. You're getting ahead of us. But yes, we're going to get to that.
It's a great
I don't think it helps, but at the same time, to Jeff's point, you could definitely make a case. Hey, look, man, we need you. We need you to shore this thing up. This is why you're going to start immediately. And I don't think Bama's going to crap the bed against Georgia. They're going to give them a competitive game. Georgia's offense is good, but they're not as good as they have been. And so Bama's going to sell out to stop the run, make them throw the ball. And if they can pressure Carson Beck, they'll be in the game. It's what happened last year in the SEC championship.
Bama's Achilles heel for all these years has been quarterbacks like meal ticket. What took Georgia down last year? The athletic quarterback, the running quarterback. That is the Kirby Smart Achilles, like he was all those years for Nick. That was always a problem for Alabama, was those athletic running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So we're going to compete with Georgia in that game. I'm not
agree.
saying guaranteeing a win,
absolutely.
but I guarantee you we will be competitive in that football game.
Yeah. Now,
we don't win straight up.
This is an interesting thing that we don't talk about enough when we talk about recruiting. Active roster guys doing their part in recruiting guys and holding on to commitments. That's a big part of it. You see that a lot. This
podcast is huge for this.
Yeah, and it is. And that's exactly, I saw this. Ryan Williams and Bach were talking about that they're trying to get a guy to flip to Alabama that was, kind of had Alabama in the spectrum. A lot of people think they're talking about Jamie French, but I don't think so, because Bama had 2 spots for receivers in this class and they got them both. We did a breakdown months ago about how Alabama was recruiting this class to mirror Nick Saban's 2017 class. And if you look at that, Jamie French isn't an end all. If he wants to come to Alabama, they're going to give him a scholarship, but they're set at wide receiver with Caleb Cunningham and Latsier Brooks. But I think that's who they were hinting at too. Hawk. I don't want to say your whole name because I can't do it without laughing. But I think that's who they were hinting at too.
I don't put a ton of stock, like I said, into high school film because they all look fantastic when you watch high school film. But Latsier Brooks looks like a bad man. He looks fast and furious.
Yeah, he does. They had him as a 3-star at once, which is insane.
Well, Keelan Russell was a 4-star up until like a half hour ago.
That's because he was committed to SMU and everybody quit looking at him.
Yeah,
and then he commits.
He must not be very good if that's where he committed. Sorry.
I don't know, but and Bill's gone for the night, I guess. Yeah. Brooks does look like a 5-star talent. I agree with this. And I'm not saying it because he's committed to Alabama. I've watched a lot of tape on this guy. I don't see how he was ever a 3-star. And so technically, you're talking about, let's say he is a 4-star. He's easily developed into a 5-star, especially under this staff. So Bama's getting 2 5-star guys at wide receiver. So a guy like Jamie French isn't a necessity, but a guy like Naeem Offord, who Alabama really needs to shore up their safety position moving forward, is. They really, the 2 points of interest is the secondary and the defensive line moving forward in terms of recruiting. They need to shore some things up with those 2 positions. So you got Naeem Offord on the board. You got potentially Ryan Williams and Jalen Mbakwe talking about trying to get him back, quote unquote, home. And then Justus Terry is pretty high on Alabama right now. And we'll see what happens with that Georgia game. Yes, and they had Courtney Morgan with them, and we all know Courtney Morgan's involvement in recruiting. He's kind of the mastermind as a general manager behind all of this.
He is a wizard.
Top 5 Bama player of all time list was definitely interesting.
Tell us what he say.
His top 5 were Derek Thomas, Marcel Darius, Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's okay. It's okay. While you do that, I'm gonna answer. Oh, hold on, Crash Bandicoot. We'll come back to you. I'm gonna answer this question. What the hell happened with Ty Jackson committing to USC out of the blue? That's a great question. Nobody knows, but we can all assume something. Every major recruiting site, every insider, everybody had him slightly leaning to Alabama over Florida. Obviously, Florida, losing and looking the way they did against Miami probably didn't sit well in his recruitment. And then out of nowhere, he commits to USC. I think that recruitment's still open. I think that may be one of these. I don't want to claim every recruit commitment is this, but I think that may be one of those, hey, we'll pay you if you commit to us type deals, because they need defensive players to commit to USC. But Ty Jackson, as far as I know, unless he's changed his mind, is still set to be in Tuscaloosa on the 28th. So we'll see. I feel like that one is very far from done. Alabama's still going to shoot for him pretty heavy, just like they're going to still go after Jordan Young too, who is verbally committed to NC State, who I think will also be at the Georgia game. A lot of recruits going to be at that Georgia game. That's going to be one of the biggest games of the year. That one and then Georgia, Texas will be 2 of the biggest games of the college football season. So
how many spots do we have remaining open? Assuming the commits signed.
If you're going off scholarships, I think we have like 4 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody look it up. Look it up, chat. How many scholarships we got left? I think we're at 19 or 20.
Yeah. And now, of course, we're going to have some portaling happen.
You're muted.
That'll free up a few.
Well, everybody that is verbaled, we're going to keep recruiting them until they sign.
You have to.
Everybody that is verbaled to us is going to keep being recruited by everybody else. So that's just the nature of the beast. These guys are going to keep getting calls. Some of them are going to keep taking visits.
Yeah.
Everything's going to keep being circled until they sign their name.
Yeah, you're really gonna find out. We know this recruiting staff is good, but you're really gonna find out how good they are, because again, not like years past. Nowadays, you recruit a kid, you get that commitment. You have to keep him committed because everybody's throwing bags around. Then once you get him on campus, you've got to keep him at your school after a year. You know, you got to
get that signature second week of December. Got to.
Right.
Exactly. And then you have to do that process every single season until they either graduate or go into the NFL or unfortunately transfer, which we don't want to see anybody do that, but that's just the nature of college football now.
You mentioned, schools are, giving these kids money if they verbally commit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's been going on forever.
I'm sure it has. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm certain it has.
The way it happens is, a guy says, I'm going to commit to pick your favorite school. And then the boosters that are supporting and pushing for that kid to go there, they're going to slip him some money, slip his dad some money, slip somebody some money on Friday nights after he plays. And the message is, you stay with us, this becomes a bigger amount. There's books been written. There's no hidden mystery that, kids, call their handler and say, I need some date money.
I
need some tires.
Call them a handler.
Well, that's the best way I can handle it.
I get what you're saying. Yes, they're representative. Well, a lot of these kids don't need a handler anymore because they've got agents doing this. Actually,
there's a Bo Jackson biography came out about a year ago. It's about that thick. It really fun read. And in 1982, 81, 82, there was a guy out of Birmingham. He was a huge Auburn supporter, and he was just always over at McAdory High School. Always.
Yeah.
Must have been scouting Matt Caddell.
Yeah. There's some amazing stories about Bo Jackson. I don't care what uniform he wore after he graduated high school. There are some
Go
amazing
watch the 30 for 30. You don't know Bo. This
book has more, and he debunks any of the myths or proves the myths. And in most cases, he proved the myth. Like, for instance, this is a way off topic. Bo hit a fly ball in high school that was so high. He was standing on third
How high
base.
Was it?
He was standing on third base when the left fielder
red.
When the left fielder finally saw it, Bo was standing on third.
Is that the whole story?
And the guy was so amazed, he let it bounce and picked it up. And Bo just stood there looking at him. Just crazy. Anyway, amazing.
Thank you for that.
That was a good story about a pop fly.
I love it. Well, guys, that's pretty much everything going on in the world of recruiting. I know you guys love to talk about recruiting, but for the week, that is your Cruton Roundup for this week. We've got other things to talk about. And before we get to picks and things like that, I want to talk about one thing that's weighing heavy on my heart that I take very seriously. We're all human beings and we all make mistakes. We all do things we're not proud of. We're all flawed, broken. And
is this the Shannon Sharpe thing?
How'd you know, man? I just want to say, Shannon, it's okay.
We're even doing split screen like Shannon.
I love it. Shannon Sharpe, it's all right. You don't need to be embarrassed.
No.
We're all human beings, man. And we know it wasn't an accident, but ESPN lets you keep your job. So you live and you learn, fella. Take the advice from Ocho Cinco, work on your cardio, and kudos, man. Tell Michelle we said hey. Oh, buddy. Oh, while we got you doing laughing a little bit, please make sure you are liked and subscribed. There's 152 of you watching. We would like that number to be higher.
Thank you all.
I'll tell you what, if we can get that number up to about 500, I will buy somebody a hoodie from the from our merch shop. So
beautiful
share
merch
on social media. Share on social media if you haven't yet. Share to Facebook, Twitter. We're pretty popular on Twitter. People know us. Kind of a big deal.
We're kind of a big deal.
Our apartments smell of mahogany and leather-bound books.
We've got lots of activity, lots of room for activity.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
anyway,
let me talk about something for a second here.
Go ahead.
So
is this confession?
I gotta.
How do I put you over there?
No, you just pull me over like this. There we
Okay.
go. Okay. So
you.
I gotta take issue a little bit with Bama Nation this week, and with Bams. Me being a full-fledged Gump card carrying Bam.
Let's do it.
Y'all look at me. Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. He's not going to coach like Nick Saban. He's not going to throw headsets like Nick Saban. He's not going to throw temper tantrums like Nick Saban until he gets at least a couple of SEC refereed games in, and then he'll probably will. But Bama Nation this week, all on Twitter, all over the place, has been, I wish he would throw the headset like Saban did. Does anybody else want DeBoer to get emotional, like more emotional like Saban did, and wipe his ass like Saban did? Look at me, people.
That's a
he
skill.
Is not the Nick Tater. He's never going to be. Nick Saban is not the coach at Alabama anymore. He's gone. He's never coming back. He's never going to be again. We're never going to see Nick Saban coach Alabama again. We're probably never going to see a run like that again. But here's the deal. Let this man do what he does. He's won 106 games and only lost 12 coaching exactly this way at every level. Okay? So stop telling him to do things that Saban used to do. I wish he would throw his headset. No, it's not what DeBoer does. He doesn't throw headsets. Saban did that. Won a lot of games, won a lot of championships. That's not what DeBoer does. And he's won a lot of games, won a lot of championships. Both ways can work. So Bams, please stop pining for DeBoer to be just like Saban. Okay? It's not ever going to happen. Let the man do what he do. Okay? DeBoer can cook. Let him cook. Stop wishing that he would do things the old coach did. It's not going to happen. Saban is gone. He's not coming back. We're not going to see a Nick Saban headset tirade again. That's gone. Let it go. Let the man cook the way he cooks. We're going to be fine.
Do you feel better?
Yes.
So I had that in the show notes as a message, a special message to Bama fans, and you literally said everything I was going to say. Crash Bandicoot here. Yes, Nick Saban. I almost screwed up there. Coach DeBoer is a silent assassin, and I love it. Yeah, I posted a video of him earlier in the week with his face kind of twitching while he's on the sideline. Some of you, I think, are even kind of referencing that nod. That might be what you're talking about here.
That's fine.
It's fine. Like to Jeff's point, like Nick Saban was Nick Saban for a reason, and
exactly.
Kalen DeBoer is Kalen DeBoer for a reason. You guys, a lot of people, I don't think, have fully accepted the fact that Nick Saban is not the coach at Alabama anymore, and it hurts. I get it. It sucks. We talked about it after he retired. I remember calling my buddy and going, "Hey man, why does it feel like somebody died? This is ridiculous. I'm
totally with you."
He
said, because you made an idol of a man.
Yeah, I'm like, am I that emotionally invested in this to where it feels like this
we are.
Is dead?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
And so, but I don't think that you guys really understand how good Kalen DeBoer is. in his own way, the way he handles things, the way he handles pressure, the way he handles these close games. If you go back and look at Washington's schedule last year, they had a great season, made it to the national title game, but they weren't blowing people out a football game.
No,
they played a lot.
They didn't have the talent.
Well, no, they didn't, but they played a lot of close games, games. And Kalen DeBoer approached each one of those games the same way. And guess what his team did? They found a way to win the game. Alabama, with the help of their coaching staff, who made the right decision to pull Formby and put Pritchett in the game late in the fourth quarter, found a way to win the game and almost cover. And everybody's still belly aching because they had three terrible quarters of football. I get it. Nobody wanted to play terrible about USF. We all talked crap about how we were going to beat the crap out of them, and it wasn't going to be like last year.
Yep.
Guess what? It was. But the difference is it's completely obvious what happened. We have a Roman Harper said it today, playing with a freaking makeshift offensive line against a team that was just blitzing and blitzing and blitzing and blitzing.
And fast.
Weird blitzes.
Yeah, and very fast, exotic blitzes, and we couldn't stop it. Well,
and we talked about this Saturday night. We had 3 guys on the offensive line playing positions that they were not starters at.
Yes.
And left tackle, left guard, right tackle. And USF's game plan was to figure out which one can we get in his head. Which one can we make him screw up? They found him, and right tackle is where you would go typically. Anyway,
kudos to them. That's good coaching. They found the weak link and they exploited it. And
they did. It's great coaching, and it's
as good as. Oh, go ahead, Bill. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, yes, it's good coaching on their part, and there is a great reason Coach DeBoer said it. We're 2-0. Somebody said, "What would our record be if Saban and his staff were 2-0?" But we would have given up more than 1 touchdown in 2 games. I promise you that. Yeah. We've given up 1 touchdown in 8 quarters, and this defense, Nick's defense was fantastic, but everybody in the world knew how to play against it.
Playing angry.
Yeah, they figured it out. Yeah. Jeff, we also know what Michigan did against Alabama. Bama almost out-talented Michigan, but statistically speaking, Bama got handed their asses in that
Jeff,
bowl.
Michigan destroyed everybody on both sides of the ball last year.
So, that's okay. Yeah. People, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. They'd have done it to Georgia too last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
last
Michigan
year,
team,
they had it lined up. I mean, Washington had the best line in college, and Michigan destroyed them.
Yeah. And so, I mean, look, it happened with Alabama. And again, and this is something else we're going to talk about in a little bit. Everybody always wants to blame the quarterback. If you're the quarterback and things go right, you're the big man on campus. If you're the quarterback,
Jalen had a good game.
It's on you. That Michigan game and that USF game this past weekend, everybody started talking about, we got to bench Jalen Milroe. First of all, why the hell is anybody talking about benching the starting quarterback?
Stupid.
Of Alabama. Like, better than these freaking $1 million head
fire
coaches.
DeBoer.
Like, yes,
idiots that saying that.
Ridiculous.
And tool bags.
And then secondly, it's not Milroe's fault. That just tells me you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't understand the actual game of football. You just want to see Alabama get on the field and the scoreboard be 56-0 at the end of the game. You don't understand the small nuances, the chess match, and the things that happen on the field. That's why I like having Jake on so much, because Jake understands that, and he could speak to it better than most of us because he played college football at a higher level than any of us. But you guys don't, those people who say those things, they don't understand. They're not capable of looking and understanding, well, yeah, the offensive line, we've got a bunch of true freshmen starting. USF isn't an SEC team. They should be bad. That's not the case. First of all, that's not the case anymore. Look, guys, NIL and the transfer portal has completely changed college football.
That's right.
There's not going to be teams that consistently dominate and blow everybody out like Alabama did 10 years ago. That's not college football anymore.
Right.
Right. The transfer portal and NIL has spread the talent.
Everything.
They have spread the talent. That's why you're seeing teams like Michigan get beat by Texas the way they did. That's why Notre Dame goes into freaking Texas A&M and beats them and then goes home and loses the NIU.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah, that's why Auburn lost to Cal. Right. So coaching becomes very important.
Bingo. That's the word. It's coaching.
And what did the coach do? They waited as long as they could, but the minute that game was in jeopardy, the minute Kalen DeBoer went, okay, we could be in trouble here, he made a move, and it immediately fixed itself. I love Nick Saban, but for 3 seasons, that offensive line has done the same thing it did in that USF game, and it never got fixed. Kalen DeBoer fixed it in one move. One move. And you guys want him to throw a damn headset.
9 yards.
Get out of here, man.
9 yards. 16 yards. Touchdown.
Thank you.
Some of you guys aren't Alabama fans. Some people just are fans of winning.
Yeah.
And if that's you, go get a Georgia hat. Go get a Texas hat because they're about to go on a tear.
They're gonna win a lot. They're gonna win a lot.
Yeah.
Get used to it. Thank you for saying that though. Like that's a perfectly said.
Alabama's gonna win a lot too.
Perfectly said.
Alabama's gonna win a lot too. I'm telling you guys right now, Alabama's probably gonna lose 2 games this season.
Probably.
And when it happens, these Fairweather fans are going to be calling for Kalen DeBoer's head. They're going to be calling for Jalen Milroe's head. They're going to want to see Ty Simpson start. They're going to want to blame it on everything else until Alabama makes the playoff with 2 losses. And then it's going to we don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. We're Alabama, blah, 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 blah. Sit down. Shut up.
Dude, these are the same people that want Milroe to move to wide receiver if he struggles at quarterback. They're like, well, just put him at receiver. What?
I guarantee you those same people, like Keith here, they weren't with Keith and guys.
Thank you, Keith.
They weren't with people before I remember before Nick Saban.
I don't remember the Mike years.
No.
The Mikes.
We had Francione. We had 3 Mikes. We had Ray Perkins. Ray Perkins was a good guy, but not good coach. Cat, you're right. And the standard, Coach DeBoer never changed the standard. The standard is excellence. How he approaches achieving the standard is just different. The standard is always excellence, and we're going to be excellent.
From everything we've seen inside the program, Bill, I would argue that it's really not much different than what Nick Saban's done. Other than his approach to head coaching is different. That's the main difference.
He dresses differently on the sidelines. He doesn't cuss and stomp his feet and break headsets, and he doesn't. He lets them listen to music while they're at practice.
Right to say, they've got 2 freshmen with a podcast that the university is promoting. You would never have seen that under Nick Saban.
Coaches and freshmen, assistant coaches are talking to the media before the playoffs. It's a new system.
Yeah. And you know what that does? System. You know what that does? Because I don't know how
everybody.
With the new wave with Ryan Williams and Bach. By the way, if you guys haven't done this yet, go over and subscribe. I don't care if you watch their content or not. Go subscribe. And here's the reason why. You've got 2 true freshmen at the University of Alabama that were allowed to start a podcast, right? What can they do with that podcast? They can monetize it.
Money. They can help with recruiting. I do not have a bug. Thank you, Howard. I do not.
On my finger and I can't.
They can monetize it, right? They can monetize it. Once they monetize that and they build a new way, just like
yes. In addition to that, it's a way to keep your players at home when the portal's open. Because hey, my school likes me. My school encourages me. My school pays me.
Yeah, and it's good. It's a good podcast. It's the second best one on YouTube.
Behind us.
The first best one right now.
That's right.
But here's like
we're gonna help them get there.
I had to do it. I know you guys would rather watch Ryan Williams than us, and that's okay.
The cool thing about that though is like these guys are this tool is an active recruiting tool. Who and the whole team knows all these guys in this next class better than anyone. How about one of them that should be in the class? And one of them that just graduated, like Bach and Hollywood. They know all these guys. They've been playing with these guys for years.
They played against them. Exactly. They went on camps together.
They've been playing basketball together for years. Thank you, Mr. Bama. They've been so who better to talk to Naheem Offord about coming to Bama than guys that he knows already, that he's played against and with, and that they probably on a group text. They probably text, and it's like, this is so brilliant. And then the first guest you have on is Big Mo, Courtney Morgan, the guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's genius. It's genius.
The wizard.
Really. It's genius what they did. But
Jamarcus Shepard will be on there sooner before later.
They'll have the coaches on there. Guaranteed.
Look,
guaranteed.
Somebody said it earlier in the chat. For all of you who are upset about him not, acting like Nick Saban on the sideline, you don't have to worry because Kane Womack and Nick Sheridan are doing it. If you haven't listened to practice, you would think Nick Saban was out there. You hear Kane Womack screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly the same.
I'm here for all of it.
And Michael, you and I got military experience. Your best commander doesn't ever lose his mind. He lets his subordinates do it.
Yes. Yeah. You let your NCOs handle it. Yeah.
You push out to the subordinates, say, look, here's the message. I depend on you to do it. And I know you're going to get it done. And they get it done. And then it's just good delegation. It's good leadership.
Yeah, he was pretty frustrated, and I loved it.
Yeah. What?
Keep in mind, man, they got the headsets.
You were reading lips. You said there were a few. Shucks. Jiminy crickets. Fiddle-dee-dees. There are a few of those in there.
Oh, fire truck.
Oh, son of a biscuit. There's a couple of those.
Son of a biscuit.
You, Mr. Falcon, there was a few of the Mr. Falcons in there, too.
Cheese and crackers.
Yeah, the old Tom Brady. Golly gee shucks. Gee whiz.
Did you guys enjoy watching Tom Brady's broadcast? It was kind of weird. I didn't like it.
Really.
I got to confess, I did not.
Golly gee shucks, all gee.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Bama.
Yeah, we were.
I don't watch much NFL, so I didn't see a minute. I didn't even know when he was on. So sorry.
I watched a bunch of it. I got Red Zone.
Too many pauses. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Anyway, so we've talked a lot about. Listen, everybody relax. Okay, and I know it's not our folks. Everybody seems to be agreeing with us in the chat. But those folks are social media
rational, smart people.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic. We love you.
Yes.
They're coming here for sanity.
Yeah. They bring a lot of sanity to the show.
For the one, like stand your ground on social media, because a lot of these people really just, like I said, it's not a love for Alabama. I love Alabama. I went to school there. I worked for the athletic department. I've got 2 degrees from that school. I grew up in Alabama. I don't live there anymore, but I love Alabama. And a lot of people who are chirping and running their mouths when things don't go right they don't love Alabama. They love the attention, and they love
winning. They like the merch that they can wear that says champion, because they've got nothing else to be excited about in their life.
Yeah. They're the same ones that won't wear that script A all year long if Alabama doesn't win the national championship.
They're the same ones that if another school wins big on Saturday, magically have their merch on Monday.
Yeah, you guys watch it. I live in. Oh yeah, dude. I live in Northeast Florida, and I have seen more Michigan stuff in the past year than I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, Jeff, I am. I'm not going to tell you where, but I am in Florida. And so if you can't tell by the constant stream of sweat going down my face.
He's been known as the king of South Beach, if that tells you anything where he lives.
Speaking of your love for Bama, mine as well. We talked about this. Uncle Sam's sending me on a trip here shortly. I've already packed 2 things before I've packed anything else. A script A flag and a state of Alabama flag. And they're going to
don't worry, Pat. While Bill's gone, we'll be sure to get an address that you guys can send him a care package. We definitely expect you to put hilarious stuff in it. Don't put anything in it he actually needs. Just put really stupid stuff in it. I don't know, but like just send him a whole box of Splenda or something. I don't know.
Send him a box of Notre Dame gear.
It's awesome. I had my gallbladder.
You'll watch me burn it live.
I had my gallbladder.
That'd be a good show. Tune in to watch Bill burn his Notre Dame gear.
I wouldn't wear it. I'd have to touch it to get it out of the box, but I wouldn't try it on.
You could put gloves on.
No, I would go straight to a fire pit.
Forever unclean.
I'd go to a fire pit where they're burning dookie with diesel fuel and put that stuff in there.
Well, look, we've done enough talking about the game last week. I think we need to move into what's happening this week, because on Saturday at 11 o'clock, the University of Alabama will take on the Wisconsin Badgers in Madison. And you better believe it's going to be loud, and a lot of people are going to be jumping around. And so I would love to get your first, your individual takes on this game. What you're expecting from the Tide, what it's going to look like. So take it away, gentlemen.
Wisconsin led by former University of Miami great Dick Van Dyke or Rip Van Dyke.
Call him Dick Van Dyke.
Whatever his name is, Van Dyke. Honest to God, I think this will be an easier game than South Florida. I don't think Wisconsin's defense is nearly as fast and athletic as South Florida's was. As goofy as that sounds, everybody's like, South Florida, what? Whatever. They had some fast defensive ends, and they had some fast sideline to sideline linebackers. Yeah. And I don't think Wisconsin has anything close to that.
So are you not worried? Go ahead, Bill. I'm so sorry.
No, I can wait. No, I was just going to say, I appreciate Jeff saying that. I think, all right, number one, Wisconsin people have been posting, Alabama's never seen anybody like Darren Van Dyke or whatever.
Actually, we did, and they post clips of us busting them up in 21.
Yeah.
We beat the crap.
Actually, beat the hell out of him. But I agree with Jeff. I think this won't be as close as the USF game. USF might as well be, the third or fifth ACC team in the state of Florida. I mean, they're really solid.
Yeah.
And we mentioned it earlier, the portal, the talent in Florida is like Texas when it comes to talent. All right. So, but Wisconsin, we're favored by 15. I say Bama's going to cover. Bama's going to smoke
Keith's
somebody.
Prediction here.
Yeah, 42-10 sounds fine with me. I think Fickle is Fickle's a good coach and a good recruiter.
Fickle is a good coach.
And I heard one of their radio guys saying he still hasn't been able to fill the roster to fit his philosophy. Well, that means we're going to fill their ass with Bama foot.
Bill, why are you so aggressive? I've been working really hard on this. So there we go. Bama's a what favorite, Bill?
15.
They're a 15-point favorite. I think eventually that they do cover this spread. I think we're looking at like a 42-14 type game here, maybe 48-14. I will say that Alabama is going to work on dominating the trenches. You're going to have an intact offensive line for the first time this season. Caden Proctor, it hasn't been said and 100% confirmed, but Coach DeBoer made it pretty clear that Caden Proctor is going to play in this game. Probably going to start Pritchett at right guard again. Expect Jam.
Right tackle.
Yes, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yes, right tackle. I apologize. But
now think about this. Jaden Roberts is huge, and he's the guard. And we've got what is Elijah Pritchett? I mean, we don't think about how massive he is, and of course he's got amazing fundamentals. But that right side is envied for other teams' left side. Yeah, we're fixing to see that offense. As I interrupted what you were going with.
Oh, you're fine.
We're going to be pushing the ball, matriculating down the field quite well behind a fantastically healthy offensive line.
Yeah. Now, I will say, don't be surprised if they do come out sluggish. This is an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
They're traveling to the north side.
We're slow starters anyway.
Yeah, north side of the country. Don't be surprised you go into halftime with like a 21, 14 score or something like that. Like, don't be shocked by that. I will say, don't be shocked if Wisconsin comes out and hits a couple of big plays on our secondary. You saw last week that there were some bust by those young cornerbacks. I'm sure Wisconsin noticed that, and I'm sure that they will design something to hit those. I think this quarterback's probably way more capable to do that than USF's. So that's probably going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if Wisconsin went up early on Alabama. If they take the first offensive possession and go up early on Alabama, But I think you didn't see a lot from Keon Sabb and Malachi Moore and Damani Jackson in last week's game because USF couldn't throw the damn ball. I think you're going to see some pretty aggressive play from those guys. Yeah. Coach Womack and company have been pretty loud about how they're pushing takeaways. They want takeaways. They want, Alabama has some work to do now to get back in the their side of the turnover margin after the 3 lost fumbles last week. So, don't get down. Again, to what we were saying earlier, that social media is going to be calling for heads at first, I think, but let the boys get comfy on the road. It's going to be a pretty loud environment for an early game. It's going to be their first official, road game of the season, while other teams like Florida and Auburn are playing their 3rd home game somehow. How is this homecoming? How is this homecoming for Auburn when they played all their games in Auburn this year?
Because their last 7 games, 5 are on the road. So they would have to wait till late November to have a homecoming, and they're still trying to have a crowd.
I like that.
And if they wait till late November, they probably won't have a crowd.
I think that
that's a good
the
point.
non-pods point too.
Let's go back to that, and then we'll go to
I think
Rob makes a great point.
If I remember DeBoer correctly, a couple of those plays Mbakwe was in there was a helmet issue on one play or something, or there was something where Bach had to run in there and play that bump coverage when on a whim. And of course, the guy goes right by him, and he didn't get the throw off, didn't complete it or whatever. But there was something happened that Bach had to go in, almost like, oh crap, get your helmet on and get in there and cover whatever number, and he ran in there, and it was press coverage. And he got, the guy ran by him. But
we mentioned this Saturday night. We have seen nothing exotic on either side of the ball. It's been very conservative. It's been pretty vanilla, and that the playbook is just barely.
Georgia.
It's barely open. We're going to open it a little bit more this week, and then for Georgia, there's a lot that's in that playbook that's going to show up in the SEC schedule.
Sure, absolutely.
Period. I hate Chris isn't here tonight to talk about this, but one of the questions he posed was, is Jalen, not progressing like you would think he should at this stage? Or is it new offense, new terminology, new staff, new players around him, the normal kind of hiccups you go through when you're dealing with new stuff like that? Because let's be honest, through 2 games, Jalen looks very similar to what he looked like last year. A lot of explosive runs, deep balls, suspect mid-game, doesn't commit to running the ball and takes deep sacks, takes huge lost sacks. A lot of the same things we've seen in the first 2 games, but then again, we haven't had a full offensive line in either of the 2 games. So, the judgment's still out. But through 2 weeks, we haven't seen like leaps and bounds of progress at the quarterback position from him yet.
I'll say
we've seen progression of reads better.
Not yet.
I think progression of reads is better.
Yes.
Knob brings this up.
I would agree with that.
And you brought it up, Jeff. The lack of consistency on the O-line that throws the whole rhythm off, and we're about to get into that. And here's a great point we don't want to overlook. Jeff, you've been saying this, 3 preseason games that got progressively more difficult. We're on that 3rd one. Next week, bye. So more time to develop, more time to build that rhythm, and then work on opening that playbook. I think Jalen progressed a lot last year, and we know what the problems were last year. And I've seen consistency so far. Nothing dynamic, but he had good numbers last weekend. His QBR was 50.5, and I think that was bogus because he really had better numbers than that.
QBR is different than a passer rating.
No, I wouldn't measure it by QBR, but you did see last week, he took that one really nasty sack where he rolled out and just wouldn't do anything with the ball. And then after that, he was very adamant about throwing it away. If his reads weren't there. And so that is something else I would like to keep an eye on. There were a lot of high snaps in that game. And I hate to say it because I want to defend Jalen Milroe, but Ryan Day may be right. It may be something. I don't know how it would be, but something's up with the snap.
There's one common denominator.
Yeah, and it is Milroe. Something's up there, but
but you've also got we had 2 weeks of not consistency on the offensive line. So that means who's calling this, who's calling that on the offensive line creates an inconsistency of the noise that the center and the quarterback are used to.
We would not have.
They should be getting that worked out.
Yeah. This is a great comment. And, in the NFL, we've seen for 2 years Bryce Young getting absolutely destroyed at Carolina. And Alabama fans will run to his defense and go, well, if you get him an offensive line, we know he's good. He's going to be fine. But they won't do that for Jalen Milroe. When it's been the same issue. It's the O-line. And so I expect him to do just fine this week.
For example, look at the Super Bowl a couple years ago, the Chiefs and the Bucks. Now, we all know Patrick Mahomes is top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, sure.
Especially come playoffs.
And at Nebraska.
Something about the guy in the playoffs. He doesn't lose. But they played that Super Bowl against the Bucks, and they were down like 3 linemen, offensive linemen, and he got slaughtered in that game against that Bucks defense. He looked like Mark Gillen in that game. If y'all remember that deep cut, or Spencer Pennington, he looked like he looked human in that game because the offensive line couldn't protect him. Every quarterback, if your offensive line is suspect, you're done. I don't care how good you are.
You're
whatever. Right. You are done if your offensive line is suspect in any way, especially on one of the tackles. If one of the tackles can't block, look at the Falcons-Steelers game this weekend. T.J. Watt single-handedly destroyed the Falcons because the tackle couldn't block him.
Well,
we said this at the beginning about recruiting. Why are the trenches important? You got to have a good O-line. You got to have a good front seven.
Everything's built off of them. You look at the SEC championship game last year. How did Alabama beat Georgia? They did it by pressuring Carson Beck. I said it all year last year. Yep. If you can get close to Carson Beck, you can shut their offense down. And that's exactly what Bama did until the second half when he started getting the ball out quicker. And they, started to close that gap. Yeah. And so, that's the thing. If this offensive line meshes and gels like it's going to, Jalen Milroe is going to be fine. I believe he is progressing. I've seen some throws from him. Yeah. That one touchdown pass to Ryan Williams, that was a beautiful throw, and it's his third read.
Yeah,
absolutely. He has improved time.
All right, so
he's a hell of an athlete.
So we're talking about look at the offensive line. Everybody that's probably listening to us right now, and I know that we all think Trent Richardson was awesome. He got drafted by who? The Cleveland Browns. And they put him behind a mesh offensive line, and it wrecked him. He couldn't do anything. And that's, you've got to have that O-line.
He had a good rookie year, and then they just –
And then the O-line, they did. But what does Cleveland do? Just like most NFL teams, they'd rather go get a quarterback and pay him too much money than rebuild the people that protect the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have an O-line. And this O-line's coming together. Everybody needs to tap the brakes. Milroe's going to have a great year. I'm not ready to say it, but he at the end of the year, he might be at a banquet up north.
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to be there. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I think he's going to be there. And so, I mean, you got some teams right now whose quarterbacks are putting up ridiculous numbers because they've got, janky schedules. Looking at you, Jackson Dart, Ole Miss. But, but whatever. Anyway, Shedeur Sanders. Speaking of Ole Miss, it's believed that after that first week showing against Miami, Billy Napier's on borrowed time. We all believe that the U-Haul is on layaway, and it's just a matter of time before he's out of.
It's whistling around the corner of his house.
Yeah, until he is out at Gainesville. And there's been some heat around a certain SEC coach. And a lot of people, including Josh Pate, and of course the infamous Paul Feinbaum, whom I absolutely loathe, think that Kiffin would undoubtedly jump ship from Ole Miss if Gainesville.
I don't think so.
Him the job at the University of Florida.
I may be in the minority, but I don't think he's
think?
anywhere interested in that unless
Why
they're
would
going to
he
pay
wanna
him
rebuild
$20 million a year.
Why would he want to rebuild a program?
Why? Why would you go to Florida?
Yeah.
No,
He's got a better job now. That's not a better job than Ole Miss.
Now he's done most of the work already at Ole Miss.
And with the new playoff structure, and he can get in the play. Last year he would have been in the playoff.
Dude, Oxford is a fine place to live. Way better than Gainesville.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I've been to both, and the Grove is cool. The Grove is cool. Gainesville has better food. I will say that.
Oh man, you just upset half of our Oxford contingent.
It's settled then.
I don't
That's obviously
care.
why he should leave Ole Miss.
Yeah. Lane wants to be in the media.
Comes to mind.
Ooh,
I think of Grove.
If Ole Miss misses the playoff, well, luckily they're not going to. Ole Miss will be in the playoff because their schedule is so favorable.
They've got a good schedule.
Used to be a bigger brand. I don't know if they are anymore.
Yeah. Not anymore. And
they were.
Ole Miss has two hard games this year.
It's a good point Keith brings up. Lane Kiffin doesn't shy away from that ego. Could that play a factor in him going to Florida?
Who's his agent?
He will be in the mix, just like the Bama thing. He'll do a fake video of him fake talking to somebody about why would he want to leave Oxford? He doesn't care about insert this particular job in this space here. He'll do another thing like that, and that'll scratch his ego enough. But like you said, his ego's big enough that I don't think he wants to go to Florida and take 3 years to rebuild or 2 years to rebuild something that he's already done.
No. He's going to extort Ole Miss for more money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Especially if he makes
just like Norvell did, like Dan Lanning did, or
Yeah.
Jimmy Sexton did for all these guys that were mysteriously rumored for the Bama job and then suddenly got 10-year contract extensions when none of them were even going to get a phone call.
The day after Nick Saban retired,
Hilarious.
why was Jimmy Sexton in the building?
Ooh.
Because he was making phone calls.
Yeah.
And
He was putting his clients' names out there as possible shortlists, and they fleeced Florida State, Oregon, all them. He got them all locked in.
Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. Hold on, Bill. I know what you see.
All right.
That's because I agree with that. I know you do. I think Jeff does too.
Yeah.
I think what Bake has said here is the actual answer to Florida's problems.
Yes.
Alex Kalesh, current head coach of USF, Bulls, the South Florida Bulls. I think that he is the answer.
I agree with Bake.
And where was he? Where was he before? He was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. He is beating Alabama.
And you can tell that crap
He's almost
offense,
beating
man.
Alabama.
That freaking offense. I hate that offense. God.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, and we get to play him again next year. Woohoo!
No,
3
I
years
don't
in a
think we'll
row
play him next year.
But
Well, here's
next
the thing
year
about
you'll
that
get a
team.
different Bama team. You're gonna get a year of Debo in the system. You're gonna get You're gonna get a much different look next year.
Here's the thing about portal teams, Keith. Portal teams are not built for long-term success, and that goes for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin too. And I'm gonna tell you, they did this last year. They early on in the year they looked really, really good, and then towards the second half of the season, the tires started to fall off. Go back and watch that Egg Bowl. That wasn't a good Mississippi State team.
No,
and Jackson Dart struggled big time. And so what's going to help them out this year is the fact that they've got an easy schedule. But
I'll say this while you're gathering your thought.
Jeff,
rewind 25, 30 years ago, pre-portal. We had JUCO transfers. And Ole Miss lived by JUCO transfers. And what did Ole Miss typically do? 8-4. Because they weren't building their program. The portal is very similar to Woody Heifer was the head coach at Vanderbilt. Got some JUCO transfers, made some noise at Vanderbilt, and then they went back to being Vanderbilt because he couldn't build a program. And Billy Brewer at Ole Miss forever JUCO transfers, all he did.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. Bake, this is a good point.
There's no pressure at Ole Miss. There's all kinds of pressure at Florida.
Yeah, I want to show you
Little
something.
to no pressure at Ole Miss.
Both Florida and Mississippi have had the issue of keeping their guys in state. They have struggled with that. And it's still going on. It's still going on. Florida's doing better. The state of Florida's doing better in the sense that everybody thought FSU was going to be good, so they were getting a lot of looks. And then Miami.
Everybody.
Well, I know. But then for the media, Miami's on the up and up. So, they're able to keep some of these guys at home. But typically Georgia, now Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee even, are going and still cherry picking these dudes out of these states. Caleb Cunningham and AKD are a great example. Right, they thought it was going to stop when Nick Saban left because Nick Saban was pulling guys from everywhere. Nick Saban ruled the state of Florida in recruiting. Ask Derrick Henry, ask Devontae Smith, ask Amari Cooper. Where'd all those guys come from? They came from the state of Florida, right?
That's amazing that all those players from Florida wind up at Alabama.
But he did the same thing in Mississippi.
Calvin Ridley's parents lived an hour from the University of Miami campus.
Mm-hmm.
And Calvin Ridley went to Tuscaloosa.
That's right.
So I mean, the Coach Saban's philosophy, and this is everybody's philosophy now, is they want to recruit anybody within a 5-hour flight or drive from campus.
Hey, when I said Devontae Smith, I was thinking Calvin Ridley. So I apologize. Sorry about that.
But now, Devontae Smith out of Louisiana, fantastic get.
Sorry, Cat.
All right. Saban,
Saban,
part of his genius was that he had been the LSU head coach for 5 years. And he had all those high school coaches' phone numbers in his Rolodex. So and I'm sure he left a stack of phone numbers for Coach DeBoer. Hey, here's some folks you need to know. But we're recruiting is so different now. It's great. I'm kind of losing my mind. Somebody pick up the slack.
It's okay. It's all right. We need to segue into other stuff anyway. So none of us think Lane Kiffin is going to end up at Florida. Jeff looks very sleepy. We need to make some picks because games are coming up, guys. We got a big slate of football this weekend. College game day will be at the LSU South Carolina game, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Let them do their thing. I did, Keith. I just got excited. I was just talking. I have a this is personal, but I'm gonna tell you guys. I have a thing, and sometimes I cannot remember something that I literally just thought, and it's kind of a problem. So sometimes if I get information wrong, it's not that I don't know it. It's just that
ADD.
Well, it's not ADD. It's from something else. So it's not AIDS. I promise.
Dysentery.
No, it's from Lyme disease, and so it's sometimes I have good days and bad days where it's hard to remember stuff, and so if I'm saying a lot, I know somebody said that on one of my uploads, like you got to stop saying well, it's because I have a script in front of me, but sometimes I just kind of lose my thought and veg out. So
you're right, Bake.
Bake, you're not wrong.
Don't put that on the screen. Don't put it on
the screen. Don't put that up. Yeah, don't worry about it. Pick on me, man. I love it. It's called that too, Case Brady. I am getting older.
I'd say you're talking about Lyme disease. It's called old man disease.
Yeah, I know.
It's really what it is. It's simple cotton.
Yeah, I got a big one coming up in October. I'm not gonna tell you guys which number, but it's on the way.
50.
Huh?
50.
No, I am not 50.
Look, you said a big number. What's a big number? If you say 40, I'm bumping you out of here right now.
He's going to finally get to vote.
40.
I got a big one. The big 3-0.
Lordy, look who's 40.
I'm going to be able to drink legally now.
All right.
Bill celebrated his 40th birthday with Jesus. I think they were classmates.
It was Moses.
Jesus Jenkins, he was a hell of a running back then. Didn't get a lot of credit. But he ran barefoot, ran like a 4.3 barefoot in a robe. Crazy.
Damn.
All right. Oh, man. Moving on to picks.
Keith and I are in the same vicinity.
Woo, I'm hurting.
Bill, you ain't seen 54 in years. What are you talking about in the center?
I actually just turned 54.
Right.
Twice.
I like the way you adjusted your mic there, Bill. Anyway, all right. Let's make some picks. My body.
You know, the reason my finger is jacked up is because when I heard it, the only medical attention we had was a barber that wanted to bleed me.
He put leashes on it.
Oh God, it's gonna bleed him out.
Yeah, that's all we had back then.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right, let's focus here. Do we have Chris's picks, by the way?
I do have them. I have them right here. I'm going to read them.
Let's roll. Love you,
right,
Chris.
So September 13th, we've got number 20 Arizona. Chris's handwriting is neat. I just can't read. Number 20 Arizona. This game is tomorrow night at number 14 K-State. K-State is a 7.5-point favorite. Chat, tell us who you got. We back on track, Keith. Bill had to go to a medicine man.
I did.
Who you got, Bill? K-State, Arizona.
K-State.
K-State. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Jeff? Me too. K-State. All right, moving into Saturday's slate, we're going to start. This one's pretty simple. Chris picked terrible games, or maybe the slate's just not great, but we've got Toledo at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a 9.5-point favorite.
I'm going Mississippi State.
I'll take the Bulldogs.
I'm going to take the Bulldogs too.
I love the Bulldogs. I love them.
I'll tell you what. Can one of y'all do me a favor and can we look up the Auburn game? Because I would like to add that to these.
They're playing the Lobos of New Mexico.
Okay.
For homecoming.
Okay. We've got, this one's interesting. You've got Texas A&M going to the Swamp, and they're favored by 3.5 points. DJ Lagway will be the starting quarterback for Florida.
I like ATM in that game.
I'd have to go with the Aggies. Man, Florida's a mess. It's a mess.
I think I'm going to take Florida here, guys.
It'd be good for Billy.
Well, I do think so. I think Billy's gone, but I don't think this is going to be the one. Texas A&M got beat at home by a Notre Dame team who lost to NIU, and now they put in their sensational freshman quarterback. I think Florida is going to win this game.
I'll say this.
Battle of the mids.
What's the next one?
If A&M comes in there and beats them, Billy's packing.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith said it's a corn talk.
It doesn't matter. He's packing anyway.
Yeah, he is. But he picks A&M. Washington State at Washington. I'm sure this is a rivalry with a cool name. I don't know what it is. The Paul Bunyan Trophy, maybe? I don't know.
The Apple Trophy.
That's stupid, but I get it. Shout out George Washington.
Apple Cup.
Shout out George Washington. The Huskies are a 4.5 favorite, even though we stole their coach.
I like Washington.
Give me the Huskies.
Washington.
Give me the Huskies. All right. Coming fresh off a very embarrassing loss to Nebraska at Nebraska, the preseason hyped Buffaloes of Colorado take on their in-state rival Colorado State, who they barely beat last year in overtime, but they are a 7.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Colorado in this one.
Yeah, it's on the road at Colorado State, so that will have a factor. Buffaloes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Buffaloes. They got a better quarterback, I think.
Okay.
That didn't help. They didn't help against Nebraska last week, but
they got Travis Hunter.
I really want to pick an upset here, but I don't know that I'm going to. I want to chat. Number 9, Oregon at Oregon State. Number 9, Oregon is a 14-point favorite, but they have not looked good in both of their wins so far. Oregon is one of those portal teams that I was very similar to FSU, who is having problems gelling and meshing on the field. And I think that, Shiloh is out of that game, Joman. You're right. He had surgery. He's going to be out for a while. Pac-12 has risen.
It's the new Mountain West. They just moved all the Mountain West teams.
That's right. Lagway, DJ Lagway's not playing for Florida.
He's not playing? He was named the starter, so unless he got hurt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's playing, but we'll see.
Unless he got hurt today.
Oregon.
Oregon State.
Oregon State. Oregon's favored by 14. I think Oregon State could do this, and I really want to pick them bad. But
I
I'm
don't
going to
think
go
Oregon can cover on the road. I don't think they'll cover.
Straight up, right? I got Oregon winning straight up.
Yeah, Oregon.
All right, I like it. Now we're going to move over to, Tallahassee. The not so mighty Seminoles of Tallahassee are welcoming in the Memphis Tigers, and they're favored by 5. I think this could be an 0-3 start for Mike Norvell and DJU, unless he balls up and benches his quarterback and gives his offense a fighting chance. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. I think Memphis has a legit chance to be in the playoff, and if they do win this game, I think you see Memphis surging with Boise and a few others toward the playoff.
I'm with Keith.
I think Memphis is it, man. I think Memphis has got a better unit. They're cohesive.
So you guys are taking Memphis.
Yeah, give me the Tigers.
All right. I was going to take FSU, but I'm just to play it safe and stay on track here. I'm going to take Memphis. Okay, I like it. A potential sneaky good one, I think, at least for 3 quarters. You've got Boston College, who will be playing their red bandana game. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that story. Really cool story. You know, it is the week of the anniversary of September 11th. Number 24 BC, who beat FSU the second time in Tallahassee, will be traveling to Missouri to take on the Tigers. Number 6 Missouri, which is weird to say out loud. Missouri's favored by 16. I'm taking the Tigers.
Tigers. Go Tigers.
Yeah, give me the Tigers.
Missouri Tigers.
Bake, if they win, we should go, man. We should go together and just laugh.
Oh, they'll be burning couches.
No, they don't. They've already checked out. Florida State Fairweathers have already checked out.
That's true. Yeah, they're out of playoff contention.
But their students always look for a reason to burn a couch. They're like West Virginia. They like burning stuff.
Oh,
they're 0-2. So Florida State, they're out. Their Florida State fans aren't even going to watch any games anymore this year.
Yeah, when you hear the war chant in that game, it's going to be.
You won't hear it. They'll mute it out.
Exactly.
Wasn't there some kind of issue with that going on?
And then they realized nobody gave a crap about Florida State, so they're like, just do whatever you want. Nobody cares about you anyway.
Yeah, I think Dion wanted them to play his son's rap song instead of their war chant.
Apparently, Tua just took a nasty hit, potentially concussed again.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was 24-7 last I saw.
It was.
Why is he still in there?
It was 31 something.
31-10 when I'd last looked.
Oh, okay.
Bro, that sucks.
Tua's.
Yeah, he's gonna.
He's fragile.
I thought he should have retired when he took that hit and he was all seized up on the ground and his hands were all seized up.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I
thought he should have retired right then. I was like,
how bad was it,
dude? You got a family and a kid. It ain't worth it, man. To be having CTE when you're 35.
It's time to retire. Hang it up.
You commit suicide, or you do something crazy. You lose your mind, or you don't remember your family or whatever because of all these things. You got paid. He got his money. I thought he should have retired after that last concussion.
Hey, it'd be a shame if somebody's been talking about this tonight. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's tough, man. That's tough. How bad was it?
So clear. But these teams, a lot of these NFL teams build their teams from the outside in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they give all the receivers all the money, and they don't have any offensive linemen, and it doesn't matter.
Start in the trenches.
I've been studying. This is for after the season's over, but I've got a chart. I've been studying how the NFL has drafted quarterbacks since 1990, and every team that tries to build from the outside in, you know what they still do? They still suck, and there's repeat offenders for the past 35 years of doing that. And we'll get to that another time.
Yeah, so it looks like Mertz is going to start for Florida.
Okay.
That might change my pick. Am I allowed to do that, gentlemen?
Yeah. If you want to.
Stone.
Y'all both picked A&M, right?
We did.
Yeah, I'll go with A&M. Chris, when you're rewatching this, check it. Cotton for A&M. All right, let's move forward. Tough news about Tua. We'll check into that after the show. But Where were we? LSU, South Carolina, number 16. LSU will visit out South Carolina. Shane Beamer plans on having Williams, Bryce, or however you say it, popping. College game day is going to be there. Tigers are favored by 7. Give me LSU by 14.
Yeah. LSU. I mean, I don't. This ain't going to be 2010, and Steven Garcia ain't showing up. LSU's
no
going to wreck them
on this field.
No, and that running back they had, it ain't happening.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? Jeff.
This is a tough one for me. I'm going to go South Carolina.
Really?
All right.
I think they pull an upset at home.
Let me help you with
Brian Kelly.
It is an 11 a.m. game.
I would love to see
Brian
it.
Kelly. He loses 2 games a year he shouldn't, and I think he lost one already he shouldn't have, and I don't think he should lose this one, but I think this will be the second one.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I would how anybody in Louisiana, I haven't heard a lot of coverage with the hurricane. I know it's not, something super substantial, but there's been some flooding and stuff. So I'd be interested to see how that maybe has impacted travel plans and stuff for LSU. I don't know, just to see. But moving on to the last game, the premier game, the one we give a crap about at 11 o'clock. This game's going to be on Fox. The big noon kickoff.
Noon kickoff with Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt,
thank
Jenny
you.
Taft.
You're looking live at the coin toss.
We've got number 4, Alabama, coming off a tough but scoreboard convincing win over USF, coming into Camp Randall to face off the Wisconsin Badgers and Tyler Van Dyke, who Alabama recently murked when he was at Miami. Alabama's favored by 15. I am taking Bama in the points here, and I don't take the points when it comes to Bama.
I would.
We haven't in the past, but this is a new day. See?
Yeah. We're thinking. We've been. I got to meet week 1 for thinking like
I said week 1, don't take the points on Bama. They covered. I said last week, all right, they proved me wrong. This is a Kalen DeBoer offense. I'm going to take the points, and then Bama didn't cover. And so,
in the chat, I said Bama would not cover last week because USF would bring all they had. In the chat comments, I said Bama 47-17. I'll stand on that. We'll win by 30.
Yeah, I'm going to say 48-14. That's my official score. I put it in the chat.
But the first quarter is going to be bad.
I think it's going to be slow.
We're going to be throwing stuff at the TV. We're going to be cussing.
Notorious Bama football is very slow starts.
Score prediction, guys. Put them in the chat while we finish up. So
but that may be that's a previous trend. Now we've got some explosive playmakers all over this offense.
Something that we kind of talked about a lot in the offseason is Kendrick Law not being utilized well for Alabama last year. He's only had 3 targets, 3 receptions this year. I think
we hadn't run a lot of plays either.
We have
true.
No.
Yeah,
we've had great field position, short plays.
I think
very explosive plays.
Look out for him to make some noise this game. We'll see how that goes. Ryan Williams, of course. I would like to see the tight ends get involved a little bit here, but I think big time what's going to happen is Bama's going to run the hell out of the ball in the second half. I think that's what you're going to see a lot of that. So get that offensive line clicking. That's what's going to happen early. They're going to try to run the ball, get the offensive line gelling because once Bama goes up a couple of scores, this is going to be preparation for Georgia in 2 weeks. So but
I think we're going to agree. First quarter will be 14-10. Might be 14-14, something like that. First quarter,
we'll score 14 in the first quarter,
and then all of a sudden you'll see Alabama just shift into third, fourth gear, and it's gone. And we're going. The comment I heard was that the front 7 at Wisconsin is aggressive, but not too big.
Yep, we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Before we finish up, we posted a video a couple of days ago kind of breaking down, talking about who coached better against USF. We definitely challenge you guys to go give that
goes
a
to my
watch.
point. The video just went right to my point. Like,
oh yeah, boom, bingo.
Doesn't matter. Nick Saban ain't here, so if he coached better last year, that has nothing to do with.
Shut up, Jeff. I want them to watch the video. Shut up.
No, I'm sorry. I just saw the
go eat your ham.
Like, doesn't matter.
Good Lord, grumpy pants. All right, Mr. Bama, Wisconsin's not going to score. Got to prove a point. I agree.
They're going to score. They're going to score.
But that'll do it. Hey, everybody, 200 of you
on Shuddy this weekend. That would be the shiz.
Yep. Check out Bill's shirt. I'm going to go and get you guys.
Not his breasts, his shirt.
They're called chesticles.
For whatever reason, Bill and the camera are doing this.
Yeah, Bill.
I don't know what you're trying to sell there, but it's not working.
Look at this.
Sell some merch.
I mean, his green screen's shining through it anyway, so you can't even see it.
Woo, good Lord. You guys are ridiculous. I'm about to put this link in the chat. We've got some really cool merchandise for you. We've actually got some seasonal merch that's only going to be available up until the week before Halloween. So check it out. There's lots of stuff. There's stuff for your dogs. There's stuff for your mom. There's stuff for your dad. There's stuff for your kids. I got a birthday coming up next month. Buy me something. And so, just kidding. Don't buy me anything. I love you guys.
Buy us a shutout this weekend. Buy us a shutty this weekend. Go to Camp Randall and throw an egg on the scoreboard for him.
Hey, I'll take it, man. 2 shutouts first 3 games of the season, 1 on the road. I'll take that.
Some turnovers, so Womack will stop being so grumpy.
I expect
a grumpy pants, Michael.
Stay grumpy. Yeah, stay grumpy.
I definitely expect turnovers. We're gonna come at them so hard that they're gonna feel desperate. They're gonna be desperate, and they're gonna make mistakes, likely through the air. But we're gonna kick some ass.
Yeah,
bunch of piss missiles.
Bingo. You don't want Jalen firing them piss missiles over the middle, man. That's tubs. That equals tubs.
All right, guys. Next week, we will be officially bringing back After Dark on Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we have our show. Hopefully, Chris will be back with us. I believe either Cruz, Nick Kelly, or Jake Merrill will be on with us next week. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, make sure you're watching for uploads, shorts, lots of fun stuff on the channel. Share that stuff. If you're watching on Twitter, please go over to the majority of you are watching on Twitter. I think there are literally 181 of you watching on Twitter, or excuse me, X right now. If you're not yet, please go over to YouTube and just give us a subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That would certainly help us out a lot. If we suck, tell us we suck, but sub anyway, because you're a good human being and the world is split and terrible enough.
We need your subs.
And, we
need your subs.
I'll beg. I'll make a video of me begging. I'll tell you what, if Auburn loses Saturday, I'll make a video of me begging for subs.
But you'll be gloating.
Yes.
Right. But you'll have that shit-eating grin on your face the whole time.
Oh, I will. And I'm here for it. Anyway, we love each and every one of you. You know how much we love you. But what you need to do when you're done here is go watch that video. And then when you're done with that, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. My Dixieland. Good night, y'all. Roll Tide.